You're carrying something you don't need anymore. Maybe it's an old hurt. Maybe it's a way of thinking that stopped working years ago. Maybe it's a relationship that ended but still takes up space in your mind. You know what I'm talking about. You felt it. And here's the strange part. You might not even realize how heavy it is until you finally put it down. This video is about something simple but powerful. The more you let go of what's weighing you down, the more room life has to bring you something better. Not in a magical way, in a real, everyday way. When you hold on too tight to the past, to anger, to old ways of doing things, you're using all your energy just to keep holding on. There's no space left for anything new. It's like walking around with your hands full. Even if someone tries to hand you something good, you can't take it. Your hands are already full. I'm not talking about big dramatic changes. I'm talking about the small things we carry every day without even noticing. The grudge from 5 years ago. The belief that things will always be hard. The habit of saying yes when you mean no. The need to control everything. The fear of being alone. The idea that you have to prove something to someone who stopped caring a long time ago. These things sit inside you, and over time, they take up so much room that there's no space left for peace, for rest, for something new to grow. If you're enjoying this message, subscribe, leave a like, and share this with someone who needs it. Now, let's continue. Because here's what most people don't realize. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means making space. And when you make space, life has a way of filling it with something that actually fits who you are now. And the real reason this happens is not what most people think. So what does it really mean to release something? It doesn't mean pretending it never happened. It doesn't mean saying it didn't hurt. And it definitely doesn't mean forgiving people who don't deserve it or acting like everything is fine when it's not. Releasing something means you stop letting it run your life. Let me give you an example. Maybe someone hurt you years ago. Maybe they never apologized. Maybe they don't even remember. And every time you think about it, you feel that tightness in your chest, that anger, that frustration. Releasing it doesn't mean you say it was okay. It means you decide that this person, this old pain, doesn't get to take up any more of your time. You're not giving them your energy anymore. You're taking it back. Or think about a belief you've carried for a long time. Maybe you've always thought you're not good at something. Maybe someone told you that once and you believed it. And now, years later, you still avoid trying because that old voice is still in your head. Releasing that belief doesn't mean lying to yourself. It means asking, is this still true? Or is this just something I've been repeating for so long that I forgot to question it? Sometimes we hold on because it feels safer than letting go. The familiar pain feels easier than the unknown. At least you know what to expect. At least you're not disappointed again. But here's the thing. When you keep holding on, you're not protecting yourself. You're just staying stuck. Releasing is not about being weak. It's about being smart. It's about saying, I don't need this anymore. It's not helping me. It's just heavy. And once you start to see what you're actually carrying, you realize how much lighter you could feel. But there's something deeper. So why do we hold on to things that hurt us? It's not because we're foolish. It's because holding on gives us something. Even if it hurts, it feels like something we can control. Let me explain. When you've been hurt and you keep thinking about it, replaying it, staying angry about it, at least you're doing something. You're keeping it alive. And in a strange way, that feels like power. Like you're not letting that person or that situation get away with it. But really, you're the one who's stuck. Or think about old ways of doing things. Maybe you've been handling problems the same way for 20 years. It's not working, but it's what you know. Trying something new feels risky. What if it doesn't work? What if you fail? At least the old way is familiar. So you keep doing it, even though it's exhausting, even though it's not getting you anywhere. Or maybe you're holding on to a version of yourself that doesn't fit anymore. The person you were 10 years ago, the life you thought you'd have, the plans that didn't work out. And you're so busy mourning what didn't happen that you can't see what's actually in front of you now. This is what I mean. We hold on because letting go feels like losing, like giving up, like admitting defeat. But it's not. Letting go is the opposite of losing. It's clearing out the old so the new has room to come in. Have you felt this? Have you ever noticed yourself clinging to something even though you know it's not helping you anymore? It's not your fault. It's just what we do when we're afraid. We grab on tighter. We try to control more. We think if we just hold on hard enough, we can make it work. But life doesn't work that way. And this is where most people get hurt. Because holding on too tight doesn't protect you. It just makes everything harder. Think about your hands. If you clench your fist as hard as you can for an hour, your hand will start to hurt. Your arm will get tired. Eventually, you'll have to let go anyway because you can't hold on forever. That's what happens inside you too. When you hold on to old pain, old anger, old fears, you're clenching, and it takes energy, a lot of energy. You wake up tired, you feel heavy, you're irritable, you snap at people who don't deserve it. You can't enjoy anything because you're too busy holding on to something that already happened. And the worst part? The thing you're holding on to isn't even here anymore. It's in the past, but you're carrying it around like it's happening right now, every day. That's exhausting. I'll give you another example. Maybe you're holding on to the way someone used to treat you. Maybe it's a parent who was never proud of you. Maybe it's a partner who left. Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you. And even though they're not in your life anymore, you're still trying to prove something to them. You're still hurt by what they did. You're still angry. You're still defending yourself against words they said years ago. But they've moved on. They're not even thinking about you, and you're still carrying them around. Does this sound familiar? Or maybe it's not a person. Maybe it's a version of your life that didn't happen. The job you didn't get, the relationship that didn't work out, the kids who don't call, the body you used to have, the energy you used to feel. You're so focused on what's not there that you can't see what is. And here's the truth. As long as you're holding on, nothing new can come in. Your hands are full. Your heart is full. There's no space. But it doesn't stop there. Because something changes the moment you decide to let go. It's not instant, it's not magic, but it's real. The first thing that happens is you feel lighter. Not happy, not suddenly fixed, just lighter. Like you've been carrying a heavy bag for miles and you finally put it down. You didn't even realize how much it weighed until it's gone. You might not notice it right away, but after a day or two, you realize you're not thinking about that old thing as much. It's not the first thing on your mind when you wake up. It's not the last thing you think about before you sleep. And that's when you start to notice other things, small things. A conversation with a friend that you actually enjoyed. A moment of quiet that felt peaceful instead of heavy. A decision you made without second-guessing yourself for an hour. These are the signs. Life is opening up. Because when you're not spending all your energy holding on, you have energy for other things. For noticing what's good. For trying something new. For resting without guilt. For being present instead of stuck in your head. Let me be clear. This doesn't mean all your problems disappear. It doesn't mean life suddenly gets easy. But it does mean you're not making it harder than it has to be. You're not carrying things that don't belong to you anymore. You're not fighting battles that already ended. You're not defending yourself against ghosts. You're here, in your actual life, with the people who are actually here, with the choices you can actually make. And that's when things start to shift. Not because the world changed, because you made space for something different. Have you ever experienced this? Have you ever let go of something and then, a little while later, something better showed up? It's not a coincidence. It's just how life works. When you clear out the old, there's room for the new. And it gets clearer once you see the next part. You don't have to let go of everything at once. In fact, it's better if you don't. Start small. Start with something that's been bothering you but isn't the biggest, hardest thing. Start with something you can actually release without it feeling like you're losing a part of yourself. Maybe it's a grudge against someone who cut you off in traffic last week. Maybe it's the guilt about not calling someone back. Maybe it's the idea that you have to keep up with people who make you feel bad about yourself. Pick one thing, just one, and decide you're done carrying it. What does that look like? It's simple. You just stop it. You stop replaying the argument in your head. You stop imagining what you should have said. You stop checking their social media to see what they're doing. You stop explaining yourself to people who already made up their minds. You just stop. And when that thought comes back, because it will, you notice it. You don't fight it. You don't shame yourself for thinking about it. You just say, "I'm not doing this anymore," and you move on to something else. Do this for a few days, then a week, and watch what happens. You'll notice that it gets easier. The thought comes less often. And when it does come, it doesn't grab you the way it used to. It's just a thought. It passes. And that's when you realize something important. You were the one keeping it alive. Not because you wanted to suffer, but because you didn't know how to stop. Now you do. You stop by not feeding it, by not giving it your attention, by not letting it decide how your day goes. And once you've done it with one small thing, you can do it with something bigger, then something bigger after that. It's not about being perfect. It's about practicing, about choosing again and again not to carry what doesn't serve you anymore. But here's the part most people overlook. The space you create by letting go doesn't stay empty. It fills up. But here's the thing. You get to choose what fills it. When you were holding on to old hurt, old anger, old ways of thinking, you didn't have a choice. Those things were taking up all the room. You were reacting instead of choosing. You were stuck in the same thoughts, the same feelings, the same patterns. But when you clear that out, suddenly you have options. You can rest. You can think clearly. You can make decisions that actually make sense for who you are now, not who you were 10 years ago. Let me give you an example. Maybe you've been angry at someone for a long time, and every time you think about them, you feel that same heat, that same tightness. It's automatic. You're not choosing it, it just happens. But when you release that anger, when you stop feeding it, something changes. Now when you think about that person, you feel nothing, or maybe a little bit of sadness, or maybe just a memory without the charge. And in that space, you can choose. You can think about something else. You can focus on someone who actually cares about you. You can use that energy for something that matters now. Or maybe you've been holding on to guilt, something you did years ago that you can't change. And every time you start to feel good, that guilt comes back and reminds you that you don't deserve to be happy. But when you release that guilt, when you accept that you made a mistake and you've learned from it and you can't undo it, something opens up. Now you can actually enjoy a good moment without waiting for the other shoe to drop. That's what I mean by space. It's not emptiness, it's freedom, it's room to breathe, room to be here now without dragging the past behind you. And when you have that space, life responds. And this is where most people get surprised. Because life has a way of meeting you where you are. When you're closed off, defensive, holding on tight, life feels hard. Opportunities don't come. People don't reach out. Everything feels like a struggle. But when you start to release, when you soften, when you make space, things start to move. I'm not saying it's magic. I'm saying it's practical. When you're not carrying old anger, you're easier to be around. People feel that. They want to spend time with you. They open up to you. They invite you to things. When you're not stuck in old thinking, you notice new possibilities. You see options you didn't see before. You're willing to try something different. When you're not clinging to the past, you're actually present. And when you're present, you make better decisions. You notice when something good is happening. You say yes to things you would have said no to before. This is what I mean. Life doesn't change because the universe is rewarding you for letting go. Life changes because you're not in your own way anymore. Think about it. How many times have you missed something good because you were too busy thinking about something bad? How many times have you pushed away help because you were too proud to accept it? How many times have you said no to something new because you were too comfortable with the old, even though the old wasn't working? That's what happens when you're holding on. You miss things, not because life isn't offering them, but because you're not available. But when you release, when you create space, you're available. You're here. You can receive. And people feel that too. They can tell when someone is open, when someone is ready, when someone is actually listening instead of just waiting for their turn to talk. That's the shift. You're not trying to control everything anymore. You're not defending yourself against everything. You're just here, living your actual life. And it gets clearer once you see the next part.
Now here's something important. This isn't a one-time thing. Releasing is not something you do once and you're done. It's something you practice again and again. Because life keeps happening. New things come up. New hurts, new disappointments, new fears. And if you're not careful, you'll start holding on to those too. But now you know better. Now you know what happens when you hold on too tight. You know how heavy it gets. You know how it closes you off. So when something new comes up, something that hurts or disappoints you, you can catch yourself. You can notice when you're starting to clench, when you're starting to replay it over and over, when you're starting to build a wall. And you can choose differently. You can feel the hurt. You can be disappointed. You can be angry. But you don't have to carry it forever. You can feel it and then let it move through you and out. Does this make sense? Have you noticed this in your own life? It's like cleaning your house. You don't clean it once and then it stays clean forever. You have to keep cleaning. But the more you practice, the easier it gets. You notice the mess earlier. You clean it up before it gets overwhelming. That's how this works too. The more you practice releasing, the faster you catch yourself. The less you accumulate, the lighter you stay. And over time, you start to realize something. You don't need to hold on to prove you're strong. You don't need to carry everything to show you care. You don't need to remember every hurt to protect yourself. You can be strong and still let go. You can care and still walk away from what's not good for you. You can protect yourself by not letting things in that don't belong. That's wisdom. That's maturity. That's knowing yourself well enough to know what you need and what you don't. But there's something deeper.
Because at the end of the day, this is about living your real life. Not the life you thought you'd have, not the life you're trying to prove to someone else, your actual life, right now, with all its imperfections and disappointments and ordinary moments. This is it. This is what you have. And the question is, are you going to spend it carrying things that are already over, or are you going to put them down and actually be here? You get to choose. And I know it's not always easy. Some things are hard to let go of. Some hurts go deep. Some fears feel too real to release. But you don't have to let go of everything today. You just have to start. One small thing, one old thought, one grudge, one belief that's not serving you anymore. Just one. And then tomorrow, maybe one more. Because the truth is simple. The more you release, the more life opens up. Not because life changes, because you do. You make space. You soften. You become available for what's actually here instead of what's already gone. And that's when you realize something. You've been holding on so tight, thinking you were protecting yourself. But really, you were just making yourself smaller, closing yourself off, missing out on what was right in front of you. But now you know, and knowing is the first step. So take a breath, look at what you're carrying, and ask yourself, honestly, Do I still need this, or is it just heavy? And if it's just heavy, put it down. You don't need permission. You don't need to wait for the right moment. You can do it right now. Just let it go and watch what happens. If this message helped you, subscribe so you don't miss the next reflection. Leave a like and share this with someone who needs to hear this today. Take care of yourself, and remember, you're not alone in this.